Part 2. God's case against his people. The indictment. Micah 6, 1-5. Many Old Testament prophetic books include the indictment of nations. I wrote down not our position to judge God's people, but trust that his justice has it under control. Kings or religious leaders. Sometimes the prophetic issues of indictment in their own voice were in their own voice. But in Micah 6, 1-5, God himself lists the charges against his people. I said he knows the heart, which genuine of changed hearts is listed above. It's true. Rather than simply saying, you did this evil thing, God indicts his people by defending himself. Each charge compares the people's sin with God's faithfulness. And I put, do we live changed lives? Do we have integrity in his word? Because it usually leads to passion, it leads to reconciliation, it leads to a genuine relationship, whether it be with him and or the other people around us. Many good things stem from his word. God opens with a piercing question. O my people, what have I done to you? Mainly, he provides, he protects, he restores. It's usually by our own actions we bring suffering. Most cases, the people were treating God as though he had been cruel and unfeeling. I say most cases because Joel. But also, do we put effort in? As he created all and moves on our behalf of the bride of the church. In this case, Israel's history, including the Exodus, the wilderness wandering, and the conquest of the promised land. It was evident that God continually at work on his people's behalf. He was. Unlike the people, God had always been faithful. We must carefully compare our action and attitudes to God's. If our hearts are faithful and obedient, we can joyfully reflect on God's character and praise him for his goodness. I wrote down Philippians 4:6. Be anxious in nothing, but in praise and thanksgiving all things. If we look to the positive, not the negative aspects, and count the blessings, we can use those testimonies and see how great God is, because he answers, he provides, and he restores to this day. But if our hearts are faithless and disobedient, this time of reflection will be for us what it is for most of Israel, a pain indictment. When have you experienced God's goodness in an especially memorable way? I put down seeing prayers in alignment, when my relationships improved upon prayer, when the power of prayer with my leg, when my grandpa put both of his hands on my leg and it felt like they never left him, and I prayed for strength, and then the vision like that popped into my head to go to YouTube and look up physical therapy. Sometimes prayer takes action is something that I learned. And so now I do a little bit of physical therapy for my leg, and it's doing a lot better. When I prayed to handle with patience proper circumstances in relationships, with words and wisdom, James 1-5 and on, that whole chapter is super important to me. And for the first time, I remembered my mom's side all getting together for something. And it was for the church, but it was for Easter as well. And usually that didn't happen. My mom and my other side of the family are pretty busy sometimes, and we're all discombobulated. But I remember Romans 8:28, those who love him, all working together for the good, and it's for those according to his purpose. That's the gist that I do remember of that. Forgive me for not knowing it word for word. How can you intentionally remind yourself of those milestones? I said, I just know the passion of all he's done on my behalf. I want to share. He puts the right person at the right place at the right time and hold the integrity of his word. Those are things that I cling to and I do because I know of how good he is.